Hello and how are you to all you sports lovers out there. My name is Robbie Gillette and welcome to episode 5 of the Keeping It Real with Rugby podcast, where we chat all things from the mental side of sport to stories, laughs and banter. Whether into the old pigskin or the old leather ball, we've got you. Today we're chatting to Springbok physio Rene Naylor about all things life, lockdown and Rugby World Cup 2019. I hope you guys enjoy. That's you must be having an awesome time homeschooling. How's that going?
The homeschooling's not going great, but my son has actually said to me that he feels that I must I can take my screen time away, but I must just stop the homeschooling. Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome to be sitting in kind of the new norm midst of Springbok rugby royalty. I mean, how long have you been with the Springboks? It's been long. I mean, even since I can remember, I've seen Rene on the side of the field and I've been like, yo, she's got my dream job.
I've been there since 2008.
Yo, that is mad. That is.
Yeah.
So what's that? Three World Cups, if my maths.
Yeah.
I don't know. 3 World Cups. Wow.
My third time lucky.
Fair enough. So Rene, thanks so much for coming on again. But so we obviously see Rene Naylor, the Springbok physio at the moment, but a lot of the people don't know the journey it kind of took you to get to where you are at the moment. Could you kind of just chat us through postgraduate and then where'd you go from there and then how you ended up as Springbok head physiotherapist?
Yes, my journey started with physiotherapy. I mean, I decided at the age of 16 I wanted to do physio.
Okay.
My dad broke his leg in a church community soccer game, and then he went for physiotherapy, and I decided this is my career, and I had no second choice.
Okay.
So it wasn't easy. I was told I couldn't do it. It was a struggle. It wasn't an easy route for me. And then when I qualified as a physiotherapist, I basically started at the real bottom with rugby. I mean, rugby was my passion.
Yeah.
Our family all watched rugby. No one's really played professional rugby, was really good at rugby, but we enjoyed the sport and I enjoyed the sport. And I sat and watched a game at Newlands and I thought, gosh, it must be amazing to be on the pitch.
On the field, yeah, exactly.
Be there. I mean, at that stage, I didn't think I was going to ever end up at Newlands. I mean, I was very happy to work I started at a rugby club out on the Cape Flats in Mitchells Plain. I started with Silkbury Rugby, worked in a little container, got paid 200 Rand a game. I was happy. Yeah. I was excited. I was learning. And I also did my research there, did my master's in that time. So it was a long time, and then Western Province started. I was with Western Province for 7 years, and only started, with the Springboks in 2008.
So which era would you have been with the Stormers and Province? Would it have been like, I don't know, Brent Russell, those kind of guys?
Yes, Brent Russell was there. Van
That's awesome.
Clear.
Oh my word!
Legend. Was in my
Legend.
Yes, Jean Villiers, those guys, were them for a long time. When I actually was Skalk Burger's physio when he left Matric.
Wow, that's and so you obviously you would have seen his journey, kind of that whole massive injury, and you would have followed him from Matric, so that must have been something pretty special to watch him go out when he came back from injury to play for the Springboks again. That must have been incredible.
Yes,
I think if you didn't have a tear in your eye, there's something wrong with you, I guess.
No, it was really, really, really a special time.
Yeah, awesome. So I always like to play a game of who is and why, just because it's fun and gives a little bit of insight into the team. So if I could just ask you a couple of who is and whys, and then it'll be cool. Okay, so who is the comedian?
So the comedian, we've got a few comedians that don't really know they're comedians. They've got this dry sense of humor in the physio room. Will be guys like Lewitt.
Okay.
Lewitt is really funny. And Willie Leroux would be very dry sense of humor. But the guy with the biggest smile, that's the most positive energy, that's always, getting everyone excited about something social would be Sculptris. And I mean, that's probably no surprise to anyone.
That's awesome.
He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Always seeing the fun, everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then who is hating lockdown the most?
Who's hating lockdown the most? I don't know, but I think it's the coaches often that they've got during this lockdown. I think they're not enjoying it. I think they want to be back on the pitch with the players, especially Rassie. I think being at home and not being involved must be really hard for the coaches.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of bittersweet for the players, because it's like it is a bit of a break for the body, but also, I mean, it's what you're doing, what you love. But yeah, what do you think? Just off the topic, do you think this like kind of break will prolong or improve players' career lengths just because they've had a sort of extended break that they don't usually have, or do you think it'll just be pretty much normal?
No, I think that this lockdown has got many challenges for everyone, and I think for professional athletes there would definitely be challenges, because you're missing out on your actual sport-specific conditioning, your rugby conditioning, and your time, your minutes, you're playing. Which for us as Springboks, we're expecting players to have covered a certain number of minutes when they reach, the national team, which they would not have covered.
Yeah.
So that is definitely going to be a challenge. Having said that, yes, it's nice to have this mental break, but it has been a long time.
Yeah.
And it will be a challenge. And if we look at the soccer, we just look at the incidence of injuries in the first few games now, the first few hours has been so much higher.
Yeah.
So for us as a medical team, the return to play and training is going to be so crucial to get that right. Otherwise, we'll sit with like Bundesliga, they've had so many injuries, soft tissue injuries, because guys have not been conditioned in their sport, and less than 10 days of training, they're back playing.
Yeah.
We won't be able to do that in rugby. We will
especially not to the collisions and everything.
Yes, we will have lots of injuries.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just a double one. Who is earliest to the physio room and who is latest to the physio room?
Okay, so yes, I'm probably going to give to Cheslin. He hears this, but Cheslin, we actually teased him. We said, "Have you become part of the medical team? Part of the physio team, because you hear when I you'd be the first and the last sometimes. Did you stay in the physio room? He took his injury in the World Cup very seriously, and he was very professional, and he was there all the time. And we teased him. He says, "Oh, our colleague is here. Cheslin's not here. So that was the fun thing." And then who would also be the latest in the physio room would be the roomies, Trevor and Bongi. If you saw the one, you saw the other one, and they often come and relax in the physio room with their recovery boots. So, I mean, the physio rooms, we try and create a very social environment so that the guys can relax. And if you're feeling isolated in your room and you need a little bit of a break, you can come into the physio room and have a chat and what we call our healing center.
Okay. What an awesome environment. I'd love to be a fly on the wall there. Just have all that chat and all that. Yeah. Awesome. And then just so from your side with your role in the team or whatever, aside from obviously being the most important person on the non-playing staff, do you find yourself doing other bits other than fixing players up and doing the therapy? And like say on a game day, do you find yourself doing other bits just helping out, or is it strictly okay, strap in, get these guys ready?
Yes, well, I think that's something about, you spoke about me being there for so long. So sometimes when you're in a team for very long, you obviously learn what other, people in your team are doing and what their role is and what they need to get done. And you are clearly there to provide support.
Yeah.
So you definitely would offer support. But we had this very important concept, I think, the start of the campaign, where we spoke about your suitcase, your tussie, and it was you carry your suitcase, And it was very powerful because it was challenging, obviously, for someone like me. When you're there for long, you feel you can comment on something else besides physio. But actually, you shouldn't. You should try to stick to what you
Stay
know.
in your lane.
Stay in your lane. And it actually worked brilliantly for us because it doesn't create viruses and it doesn't create. So if someone comes to me, and it was quite nice because if someone comes to me and complains about the food, I can say, you know what? I can't do anything about the food. Go and speak to the dietitian.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about the meetings and go and speak to the coach, but I can help you with the physio, I can help you with your recovery and massage if you think it's not adequate. So it was nice to stay in your lane and stay in your, and I think the more professional you get, that you do become focused on your niche. But having said that, you're there, that you provide the support, particularly on match day. Match day, unfortunately, as physios, we're busy all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's a pretty long day.
It's a long day for us, and we are busy from early morning. So it's really full on.
Awesome. Because I've always wondered, like, probably a very, very silly question, but so when I played a little bit, I wasn't very good. I wasn't good at all, but I always used to love having strapping and all that. Is some of that strapping just like so they can write something on their wrists, or is it all of it have like a meaning or a purpose?
No, most of the time. So obviously, when you see a guy with a lot of strapping, you can't just assume that he is seriously injured and that's why he's wearing the strapping.
Yeah.
Lots of strapping is preventative.
Okay.
And now with the K-taping, with all the colored tape that you see the guys wearing, kinesio tape is also there to activate muscles that you need to activate and to inhibit muscles that are working too much. So they play that role as well. And then, of course, it's also for sweating. We got to Japan. We went through 2 seasons in Japan. It was extremely hot and humid. And then at the end, it was, icy cold. So, sometimes that's also for the sweat because, if the sweat is in your hands and you're gripping the balls, sometimes it serves different purposes. Sometimes people ask me why they're wearing that for the lineouts and that's for the lifting. It's not that, so it's different reasons for strapping, but most of the time I don't think the guys do it just for fun at this level. there is a purpose, even though they may write a message on there.
Yeah. Maybe the looks is just for a third side level. Maybe that was just a third team thing, So you've been with the box since 2008 and obviously had a longer physio career. You must have seen players at some pretty low lows. How do you? So you would have seen them straight after their injury coming into rehab. How do you handle just having those guys on your physio bed? And it's like, so they're rugby players and they're going through their mind. It's like, when am I going to get back? Do you kind of also act as a psychologist and do you guys chat, or is it, no, I just do my job?
So, Robbie, I think firstly, I'm definitely not a psychologist. I think that's quite a specialized field in sports psychology and performance psychology. I think that, but obviously we do play a role. And I think that you have to assume that if you've got a serious long-term injury, particularly if it's a career-threatening injury, that there will be a period that you'll be demotivated. I almost tell a player when the serious injury happens and we start the rehabilitation process, you can say, we are going to get to that stage where you're going to feel demotivated.
Like, no, I can't even.
Exactly. You are going to get to a stage where you're going to plateau. In the beginning, there's improvement.
Fast.
First few weeks post your surgery, whatever, you see this improvement, and then you go through this period where nothing's really happening.
Yeah.
And there's lots of doubts about your whether you're going to be successful in your rehabilitation process. So yes, as a physio, you definitely go through that process with the player, and it's inevitable. You almost say to the player that this, you can expect, you are going to go through it.
Yeah.
It's not unique. You will come through it.
Yeah.
And sometimes now we've got technology. I mean, back in the day when I started physio, we didn't always have this technology, but now we do so many videos. So I can show a guy, this is what your leg looked like day 5. Look where you are now.
Yeah.
This is, so then they see, oh my gosh, and it's good to take that out when they're demotivated, to show them you've walked such a long road. You can't give up now. You're so close.
Oh yeah, that's
And yes, you use different tools to get there.
That's hardcore. So how many? Yeah. Okay. So of the players you've done rehab with, who are some of the most intentional and professional players that you've worked with in, like, okay, so I have to, you mentioned Cheslin was really intentional about his injury at the World Cup. Can you name some other players that have been like, cool, I have to do this, I'm doing this, it's like up at 5, like non-negotiable?
Yes, I think that I think in our team, and most of the guys, I mean, I think of all the guys that were injured, were exceptionally professional.
Yeah.
I think so much at stake. They understood that this was so big for the country, this was so big for everyone, that everyone wanted to be part of it. So even guys like Jesse and Trevor that came home with their injuries in the World Cup, they tried so hard. They were there early in the morning. They were seeing me 2-3 times a day.
Sure.
Yeah. So it wasn't, and sometimes people think, oh my gosh, how on earth do these physios get these players back, playing, and they had an injury just the other day? But it's often because of the intensity of the therapy. You're not treating the person once a day. You're seeing them when they wake up in the morning after breakfast. You're seeing them at lunchtime. You're seeing them in the evening before they go to bed. You're doing another treatment, another intervention. Yeah. And I must say that all the players, and those are just acute injuries, were very professional and very, even like Francois, and also Francois teased Flo because he was saying, I'm at the end of my career. And then you also see the players become more professional.
Yeah.
Because those last, years become precious.
Yeah.
Like Scott Berger will tell you that in the beginning he never saw me as, as his physio, whereas in the later years he was in my room very often.
Wouldn't leave.
Yes. And then they do the rehab. They listen to you then. They do the rehab.
Yeah.
So I think that, and then obviously the players that had very serious injuries, players like Jean de Villiers, Captain Fantastic. We treated for three hours a day when he had his serious injury, when his knee dislocation. We had treatments even on public holidays, and I remember it was New Year's Eve, and we still did a treatment because this was the program. Irrespective of whether it was a public holiday, we'd still go ahead and do his treatment because we had targets that we wanted to reach. So yes, I think you won't stay a Springbok, and you won't get your caps if you don't have that intention and that warrior in you to actually be the best that you can be.
Yeah. So, World Cup 2019. What 8 weeks, right? At the World Cup, what a spectacle. I'll never forget the final. I was hugging people that I didn't even know while watching when Seal was lifting. It was incredible. Just, can you kind of describe what it was like on the trophy tour? I think I saw on Instagram you had your boy with you. What was that like? It looked so cool.
Yes, I must say, Robbie, it was so special. It was really surreal. I think it was surreal for every South African. Every South African's got that special story that they can tell you of that 2nd of November.
Some almost better than others, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. And for us, I think it was just, all the sacrifices. I think that it was such an emotional experience. You were totally focused. I almost felt like the week prior to the final was where I had almost like an emotional up. I was like just thinking, oh my gosh, we're finally here.
Yeah.
It was 614 days that we were counting down our preparation. So contrary to what people thought, that yes, it was just this day, we by luck we got to the final. We had actually been mapping it out and looking at the countdown of those days.
Yeah.
And there was a special feeling there before that. So I can't tell you, now in retrospect, I can't say to you that we didn't think we're going to win. We planned to win. We worked hard for it. That was the goal. So obviously reaching it was such a relief. We were together for 20 weeks. So, you said 8 weeks, we were in Japan for 10 weeks. We always said we're the first team to arrive and the last team to leave. It was 20 weeks together, and it was 20 intense weeks. And 21 weeks was, and we always said, guys, it's 20 weeks plus 1 week of trophy tour. So the 21 weeks is the trophy tour, and having my son there, that is my inspiration now. I think during your career, there's different things that inspire you. And then when I became a mother, that was my inspiration, was, to to show my son that, you know, with hard work, it will pay off, you know.
Yeah.
That he could just be part of that and to experience that, because I mean, he didn't see me for 10 weeks. It was the longest I've ever been away from him. So it was the
That's
hugest
crazy.
sacrifice that I've ever had to. And probably the biggest challenge of my whole career. No injury could match that sacrifice of actually having to be away from your son or from your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't thank the Springbok side enough of I mean, we play New Zealand like quite often, but I was watching some of the English media on the and a couple podcasts in the week leading up to the final. I was the whole week, I tell you, Rene, I was like, so like every night I had something on to do with rugby, and I was watching some of the podcasts, and I was like, I actually can't lose to England. Like I won't be able to. So I can't thank you guys enough for bringing the William Webb Ellis Cup up. It was crazy. I couldn't, yeah. And then so in the World Cup, you guys, or the side faced some critics about the style of rugby that we played. Do you guys in the team block that out? I mean, everyone says, yeah, you know, you can block it out, but there's a little bit, I can imagine, once it's always in your face. Was it hard to block it out, and did you guys manage to block it out successfully? The guys in the team as well.
So, I mean, I'm talking, just giving my personal opinion and what I feel that, you know, what was powerful was the belief that we had. And that comes with time, and it comes with building trust.
Yeah.
And I think that there was trust in the game plan. And there was lots of hours. I mean, players spent, you know, 11 to 12 hours a week doing analysis. Okay. It wasn't just you know, we're going onto the pitch and we're going to see what happens. There was a lot of analysis and prep going into it. The coaches were working exceptionally hard, and lots of hours of meetings. I mean, you know, you know, often for me it was quite nice, because as physios we're often the last ones to go and sleep, because the physio rooms are last to close. And it was nice to see many times the coaches were still debating, analyzing, doing their analysis. So I think that because so much work went into the prep, there was definitely belief in the game plan. And yes, it is hard when you're criticized. I think, you know, even as a physio, you would give support to a player when you know he's been criticized, and he will tell you, he says, gosh, you know, even my dad said I was useless, or I shouldn't have done that. And you have to stay focused. That was your task. You know, so even if people outside see that as, my gosh, why were we kicking so much? That was the plan. This is what we believed, and this is what we expected this player to do. And he knows that. And, you know, you're playing for your teammates. You can't play for the media. You can't play for everyone out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, what was nice in the team was that, you know, you were allowed to make mistakes, but you were not allowed to go into that game without giving 100% effort. Yeah.
Okay. And how good was Rassie? I mean, you say that their players knew their roles. So he must have, the whole coaching staff must have provided a lot of backing to the player. So how good was Rassie at doing that? Saying okay, you may have done this or that wrong, but we back you, and creating a belief that actually does back them.
Yes, totally. You were given the free rein to make mistakes. It was never that you were going to be nailed if you make a mistake. But you were definitely going to be nailed if you didn't go in with the warrior mentality.
Yeah.
You didn't go into that game thinking about your teammate and your team. If you go into the game thinking, this is what was powerful for me, what he instilled in the players, do not go into the game thinking about myself. I don't want to make a mistake. Because if you're thinking about, I don't want to make a mistake, then it means you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your own ego. You're thinking about, how am I going to be portrayed? Am I going to score a try? Am I going to look good? Am I going to... And that's not the purpose. The purpose is to actually stick to what your role is for your team.
Yeah.
And we went through that. I mean, even, you know, on a Friday, captains we'd go through the roles, and as we went through the weeks, the players became more, you know, the confidence grew in their roles, in working out, focusing on the defense, or whether your job was the work rate, or whether your job was the line-out calls, or whether your job was in the scrum, and creating the energy and the work rate on the pitch. So the guys knew that these were their roles, and they believed in the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think that was coaches. Coaches did a phenomenal job in creating that, and I think that players could trust that if they were messing up and if they were weak on something, they had to analyze themselves every week, and the coaches. So it wasn't just from one side. It was from both sides to say how is my performance.
Yeah. Okay.
And not look at the newspapers how your performance is.
Yeah, no, I think that could be criminal, looking at the newspapers, especially like leading up to big games.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am conscious of your time. Just two more questions. What kind of things did you guys get up to, coaching staff, players, off the field in Japan? Like, say you had an off day. Was there a lot of exploring done? And how was Japan? I've never been.
So Japan is such a special place. I was privileged to go on a family holiday to Japan in 2017. So I did do a lot of touring, and I did understand a lot about Japan prior to the World Cup. And I must say that I didn't manage as a physio to do lots of, touring.
Yeah, you're pretty busy.
It was pretty intense and pretty busy, and the focus was there. And really, when you had off time, you really just wanted to relax.
Yeah.
But there was time to learn to make some sushi, eat and enjoy the amazing cuisine that they have. And we would, most of the times we'd eat at the hotel. But on your off day, you could go and eat out and try different foods. And I mean, I think the culture in Japan is just so special. They're such a proud nation, but they're so humble. And I think that was, and they were so excited to learn about us and about our culture and singing our anthem. And,
that was incredible.
Exactly. So I think that was also very powerful, and something that for us, we'd say, oh my word, we as South Africans do not want to see a South African wearing another rugby jersey.
Yeah.
You're just allowed to wear a Springbok jersey.
Yeah.
Wearing another. And here they were embracing us and wanting us to feel special. They were supporting us. They were putting on our jerseys, and so they really made our time there very special. And I must say that everyone that has worked there, any of the players that have been playing there, they just absolutely rave about it. It's just been absolutely special, their time in Japan.
Awesome. And then, so how inspirational were, and how important and inspirational were the players' backstories? That I know I saw some of the stuff Rassi posted on Twitter, I think it was, just about inspiring the team and how he used their stories to inspire and motivate. How was that, like that? Because Sia's story it's incredible as well, like tearjerker. But yeah.
So it's, for me, it's the most powerful thing for me is that we were a very diverse team.
Yeah.
Compared to, I joined the Springboks in 2008, where it was a very homogenous team.
Yeah.
Most people were speaking the same language and the
same
culture.
So you've seen, that's awesome.
Yeah, I come from a very, it was a Donnie Craven era in 2008, compared to this very diverse group of players and management in 2018 when when Rassi started. And I must say that the diversity, diversity is not a science. See, I don't think it was planned. But everyone in that group, irrespective of whether you were from Boksburg or Benoni or Nelspruit or Swede or, everyone had a journey that they traveled to get there. Whether it was the player that was coming from the Strand or, I think in the whole group we teased that there were probably 2 players that came from privileged backgrounds, including management. I come from the Cape Flats, Belhar. And one of the talks before one of the test matches, Rassi actually had that board up and he circled where everyone came from.
I saw a small clip of that and I was like, I really want to see the rest, but it was only like 1 or 2 guys. But it's.
Okay. So, and that was for me, that was it planned? No, it wasn't planned. But what it said to us was that people that really struggled. They ended up at the end of this, and they had resilience, and they could deal with the challenge that faced, and they wanted to prove, and therefore you could use their stories to say, you've got a responsibility, with and that's where he said, you cannot be entitled. You cannot fall into that entitlement trap. That when you become a Springbok, you're entitled to all these brilliant, amazing things, and you're more worried about how many followers you have than actually your responsibility as a leader, as a important figure in South African sport. And I think that's why those stories definitely inspired everyone. Everyone had a motivation to go out there, and particularly against the English. I think it was significant. And I mean, gosh, 6 months ago, now we're not on a platform with our gold medals, our trophies. I mean, we've gone. It's been surreal. I mean, now, Sia's, I saw on his Insta, he's mopping the floors and he's doing the dishes at home, and we've our lives have changed. And there are such amazing challenges that face all of us, whether you're a professional athlete or whether you in hospitality business, or, so many people are facing, South Africans are facing such big challenges with COVID-19. But I'm hoping that with our resilience, that we will pull through, that we will shine, and that we'll get through this challenging time, and that we can always reflect on our 6 months ago, that we did show that we can shine and give hope, even though 18 months prior we were really being written off.
For sure. And that documentary, I see there's a documentary coming out. Have you seen it? Have you seen any clips of it? Is it any good? I can't wait. It's like I'm gonna take a couple of days off and just binge that.
So it's I mean, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the clips that were used in the documentary. But for me, I mean, we became so close to the cameraman that was with us from the start. And I think that we were working towards, telling our story and our journey. And it's just so powerful for us now that we are able to do it. I think not if we did not, win, it would not have been the same, telling and sharing the story of, our meetings, and I think, that there are so many important lessons that I've learned through the leadership and the platform that was created in the team, that I think that will be so valuable to so many people in different, sectors and businesses, in how the leadership managed to bring us together and to be aligned and to just move forward towards that vision and that goal. I think it's going to be, I'm probably going to be doing most of the documentary.
No, likewise.
Reliving it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Renee, thank you so much. This has honestly been such a privilege to chat to you, and thanks for taking time. I know you must be pretty busy at the moment with online physio and homeschool. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Robbie. It's a real pleasure.
And that's all she wrote for episode 5 of the Keeping It Real with Robbie podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for episode 6 next week.